Hey, this is John. Welcome back to Modern Old School Developer. In this episode, we're going to continue refactoring our queries into React Toolkit query. So let's start working on that. So in our Movie Manager API, we have our single endpoint right now. Let's make some more, maybe one to fetch the actors. It's going to be very similar to how we did the movies endpoint, although this one's going to return an actor type array. And we take no parameters there. All right. And our query is going to be a function that takes no parameters, and it's going to hit the actors endpoint. And this case provides tags is going to be actors. I need to add that to our tags. Let's go import that, and let's go add actors up here. All right, and put a comma down here, and that should be everything. So now we have an actors endpoint as well. So let's go replace our state with this new actor state. So let's go into our types, and we'll go into our state types. So we've got actors available. Those are the actors we're fetching right now. So we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to get rid of this action type. We're going to get rid of this action. We're going to get rid of this interface. All right. Now we'll go into our reducer. We no longer have this reducer case anymore, so that can go away. All right, so that should get rid of our old state, and that should make a lot of our stuff stop working. So let's go fix that. So back in our Movie Manager API, we need to export our new query. So I don't think I explained this last time, but the hook follows a pattern. It is this word, so capitalized, with use and query. So use, lowercase, actors with uppercase A, and query. And that's how all of the hooks are going to be defined. And that is part of the Typescript integration, which is really nice. Or maybe it's the React integration. I don't know. Whatever, it's in there, and it's super cool. So let's keep going on that. And let's go into our actor selector. So in here, there should be a hook for fetching our actors. So where is that at? Right up here. So this is going to go away. We no longer need to do this. All right, that can go away. We no longer need that loading state. That can go away. And instead, we need to use our new hook. So we're going to say is loading, and I want data to be my actor, or maybe my actors available in this case. We'll do that for now. And we're going to say equals use actors query, which doesn't seem to be something it knows about just yet. Did I get that right? I've exported it. It should be okay. So let's see if we can import it from movie list. Let's go back up there, and where is that? So use movies query, so it should be in there. And if I say use actors query, there we go. Now we've got it. Okay, so that looks better. All right, so we don't have a use effect hook anymore or a use state. That's fine. So what else do we have? Well, in here, we probably want to do something with our actors available. So we've got this right here. So let's change that from using our state to using actors available. All right. What else do we have? Anything else in here? Cannot find name loading. Did you mean is loading? Well, I didn't before, but I do now. All right. What else do we have up here? Actors available does not exist on state type. Yep, that's true. We can get rid of the state type and make a question mark over here. All right. And I believe that should fix that. I don't know what else might be used somewhere. So what do we have in here? It says initial state Typescript. Yep, that's gone now. So let's get rid of that. What else do we have? In movie property form, we're using that there. So in movie property form, let's go look up that. And let's see here. Does not exist on state type. That is correct. So what do we have here? There's a case of selection, movie property form. This is on the admin page, isn't it? Yeah, so this should be actors available. And let's see here. It doesn't have actors available. So this is something I did between episodes. I didn't show this, but if you want the data in more than one place, you can simply fetch the query again. It won't fetch it twice. It's smart enough to know to only fetch it once. So if we go back into actor selector and we import this, didn't mean to erase that, and we put this in here, and then we do this, get our loading stuff back. So we put not there, but where am I looking for that at? Over here. So we'll want that right up here. All right. So that should be there. So, okay. And it is saying actor type or undefined is not assignable to the type actor type. So how are we going to solve that problem? I was assuming before that it would have these actors, so we've loaded the page before, but now we might not. We might not even have an empty array, which is a problem. So why don't we say that it could be an empty array? So if we have an undefined value, we'll simply return an empty array, and that should take care of that problem. All right, so what else is over here? This no longer exists, so let's get that. And I think that should fix everything, right? Cannot find actually, this must be a new thing. Okay, we need to add that again a third time. So where is that at? Right over here. All right, and it's probably, where are we at? Are we in here? I think we're in here. Yeah, there we go. And we can get rid of is loading. We're not using that anywhere. We can get rid of it up here as well and save that. And it says object is possibly undefined. Yep, that is true. Let's say question mark on that. And I think that should fix all of our problems. Okay, so React hook has a missing dependency. Let's go fix that real quick. Line 48. So yes, it definitely does. All right, so we want to say actors available. And yeah, I think that should work there. So let's go back over here, and it says use effect is defined never used. So we can get rid of this and this for now, and I think that should be all of our issues. Okay, no issues found. All of our errors are gone away. So let's see if that still works. So let's start off by refreshing this. All right, well, we still have actors. And if I go over here, you can see that we still have, not that. We've got our available ID is 1, 4, 7. This seems to be working. If we go on our Movie Manager, we've got different queries. One of them is our actors. We have fulfilled the query, and we've got data. So yeah, Ali Sheedy and all these things are there. And if we go into our admin form and update an actor, hey, here they all are. So yeah, I think that's working. And if we go to our Python thing, let's see here. Where do we see get actors? Let's go ahead and push that up a little bit. And let's go back to the main form and go back to there. And you can see we got movies, 1, series, categories, and studios. We did not fetch actors again. And if we go back to the admin page, even though we're using that query more than once, we did not fetch it again. It is already cached for us. So it is smart enough to know when we need that information and when it needs to be fetched. And it does that in the background for us. So those are really handy things that come with React Toolkit Query and other state management libraries. So let's do the same thing for, I don't know, category. Let's do that one too. So if we go into categories, what is that going to look like? Let's go back to our API. So we're going to have our categories endpoint. It's going to look pretty much like this. We're going to call it categories. And we're going to add a tag for categories. There we go. And we're going to add this use categories query. And that should be everything for our new endpoint. So let's go into our state. Initial state will no longer have categories. That means we can take that out of our reducer state. So categories, you're gone. Set categories, you're gone. Set categories, you're gone. Set categories, you're gone. All right. In the reducer, set categories, you're gone. Okay. Movie property form. So what is the trouble right now? There's probably lots of problems. Movie categories do not exist on state type. This is going to be the same thing we had before, only we need to get the categories. So it should be categories, and if we don't have it, we'll supply an empty array. And we're going to have this here, and this is why I've been renaming this data property. I want to say categories, and we will use categories query. Okay, that should be good for that. We'll need to add this probably down here as well in our, maybe it's up here a little bit. Yeah, over here as well. And then we go to our state type. We'll get rid of that and put a question mark over there. And I believe that should be good for that. Yeah. So what else are we complaining about in NPM? We've got this state categories on category selector. Let's go fix that as well. Category selector. Right in here, we'll use our categories query. We can import that, so we have that now. So if we go look at our problems, categories is not on state. Yep, get rid of that and put a question mark there in case it's null. Set category does not exist. Yep, our use effect hook is no longer important. We can just delete this actually. This here, categories is not a thing. We can put question mark over here now. And I think that should be it for this. We don't use our dispatch anymore. And we don't use our state anymore. Or our actions. Or any of this stuff. Or this. So we need to change this to isLoading. So we need to add our isLoading property there as well. So let's get that from here. And I think that should be everything for this. What does our terminal say? Category type is defined but never used. That's a minor thing. Let's go fix that too. Where's that at? State. Right up here. I'm thinking right in here. We can get rid of that too. And there we go. No issues found. We've got a missing effect hook dependency though. Let's go fix that. Line 49. So it wants categories, I believe. And if we do that, now we should have no issues. Hey, cool. So do our categories still work? Let's see here. Well, we still have categories. If we go update a category, they're still over here. I'm thinking it worked. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. So our categories work as well. Let's go ahead and do Studio and Series as well. So again, let's close this and not that, this. Yeah, let's close those things. So we're going to make 2 more endpoints. We'll copy actors over here. Let's make one for Series and one for Studios. Series and Studios. And we'll add our new tags, Series, Studios. All right, and we will export our queries. If I have a space in there, I think it will let us do this. So use series query and use studios query. Yep, type completion is super nice. All right, there's our new queries. So we're going to go pull off our state. We're going to get rid of our series and our studios. All right, in our state type, get rid of series and studios. We'll get rid of series type and studio type. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. And what else are we going to get rid of? We're going to get rid of series action and studio action. And we're down to 1 action on our reducer now. Series and studios. And then series and studios. And I think that's good for that. And our reducer, we'll get rid of this because those no longer make any sense. And what are we missing then? movie property form. That makes sense. We don't have this anymore. So right up here, we've got just series. So we'll do the same thing. If it's null, we'll return an empty list. And if studios is null, empty list. Okay, so we need more of our queries. So data needs to be series and studios. And this needs to be use series query. And this one will be use studios query. Okay, so we've got that taken care of now. What else is missing on this? Need to change this from the state to the series. All right, same thing here. All right, and looks like series, that should be okay. We don't have those where we need them. So we need to go copy this as well. So where do those go? They're right up here, I think. We'll put them down here. Looks like our state is gone. We can get rid of that. And we don't have any more problems in here. Although use state, yep, that went away. So that looks like it's all good over here. So what's our next problem? Movie data form. Okay, let's go over there real quick. And lots of stuff's over here. So we've got some use effect helpers. This is where we fetch the series and the studios. That's in our movie data form. That no longer needs to be done at all. We can get rid of this dispatch or this use effect hook entirely. All right. We need to pull our queries in there. So let's get this information. We're probably going to need some kind of is loading in here too. So we've got this state over here. We were using one kind of is loading, but now we have got two things that might be loading. So that might be a problem, but we'll get rid of that and we'll see how that goes. So let's import this query and this query. And let's say we want is loading, which we'll rename as is series loading. And we'll get is loading here, which we'll rename as is studios loading. All right, so that's good. So what else is the problem? Property studios, okay. This should be is series loading or is studios loading. If either of those is true, we'll display loading. All right, this is no longer the state anymore. It's just plain studios. Oh, this is for series. That's for studios. Okay, I can just do is studios loading here, and we can do is series loading here. All right, then we'll fix this as well, question mark that. And I think that should be good for this. What does terminal say? A missing effect hook over here. All right, that's probably right in here somewhere, line 50. Oh, it's right in here. Yeah, we need series and studios. Okay. That should be good, I think. All right, now I don't believe state is being used anywhere anymore. Okay, I've got state here, state here. Yeah, you know what? This is not being used anymore at all. We can get rid of that and that and that. And I believe all of that should be good. All right, use context as defined. Let's get rid of that as well. And yeah, I think that's all good. So movie data form, use effect and use state no longer are being used. And state has a value, but it's not being used. Okay. What is dispatch being used for? We are using that to set our selected actors. Okay, that one is still fine for the moment. All right, hopefully that's all good now, and we've got all those things being handled by React Toolkit query. So let's see if that all works. Let's go ahead and refresh that. If we go into our state, here's our API, our queries. It's a little bit bigger over here. We've got movies, we've got series, we've got studios, we've got actors. Hey, there we go. So now that we have all those things, let's flip back and forth and see if we get the loading. Hey, we don't. There is a thing. It seems to be changing the field values when we go back and forth, though. Ah, that's interesting. It sets the selection when we go back and forth. I'm not sure that's what I want, so I have to look into a solution for that. All right, I went through the docs. I'm not sure this will work, but let's try it. There's a parameter that says is uninitialized, and that will be false before it's fetched the very first time, and then it will be true after that. And that's all I want. I only want this set the very first time it runs. Every other time it runs, I want to leave my selection alone. So let's say that. So I'm going to say is uninitialized. And what I want to, is that even spelled right? There we go, that looks better. So what I want to say is if not un is uninitialized. So if we have initialized the query, and let's add is success back here. If we are not uninitialized and we are successful and we do have movies, then we're going to do this thing. So let's see if that works. All right. So let's go back there and let's refresh this. All right, it selected the Karate Kid for us. I go back. Nope, that doesn't work. All right, well, I'll have to keep working on that to find the correct solution then. Let's try it this way. Let's say if you're successful and there are movies, but I want to know if the current movie ID is empty, if it's the empty string. So I want the movie ID, which I've got right here. So I want to say if movie ID equals the empty string, then and only then will we set this. Okay, and although I am changing something we are about to depend on, I think it'll only be changed once because it can only be in that 0 state at the very first time. So let's get rid of this, and let's add movie ID here. And let's get rid of this parameter as well. And let's see if this is a fatal mistake. All right, no issues found. We go back here. I hit refresh. I'm on the first one. Do I have my selection? State is not that. Movie ID is 1. We are still on Dr. Strange, but are we? We are, but our list looks wrong. That's interesting. I think I know why that is. So the default value is not being set right. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. So right now, I'm saying the default value is if we have movies, then it's the 0th movie ID. So why don't we say if we have movie ID and we have movies, then it's going to be the movie ID, and that's going to need to be an integer, isn't it? Yeah, let's put a plus there, and that, I hope, will work. So let's go try that now. So let's go select a different movie, Thor. Let's hit refresh first. If I go back and forth, all right. Oh, that's not quite right, is it? It should just be movie ID if we have that. I don't need to get the ID, I just need the movie ID. So the default value should be movie ID if we have it. Yeah, that should be correct. And I believe that the empty string will not trigger this AND condition. That should be falsy. So it should only work if I've got a number that's 1 or higher. and the actual ID will never be lower than 1. So let's try that. Okay, we've got our selection. This is Karate Kid. If we go into State, Select Box, movie ID is 1. If I select Little Mermaid, if I go back and forth, there we go, Little Mermaid, and I have the right selection. That's the behavior that I'm looking for. Okay, well, I think that's a good wrapping up point for today's episode. I hope you've got some better ideas about how to use React Toolkit query. Hope it's been entertaining or fun or useful or something positive at least. If it has, hey, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel out, and I would very much appreciate it. And I will see you next time, where we will do more things with React Toolkit query. Thanks for watching. See you then.